little tidbit on identity for today. We talked about identity, that feeling of being seen and heard and valued by another person. We talked about it being the most important fundamental human need. It's literally almost as important as oxygen, food, and water in the long term. And, in the next 2 minutes it's not going to kill me, but it feels like it will to us. So what will a person do when they're losing identity, when they're not feeling seen and heard? Well, the first thing they'll do is get louder. They get louder and louder and louder until they give up. So what that looks like will vary depending on the person. It will depend on how disordered their psyche was when they came into the situation, whatever. So this is where you see people just absolutely treating someone horrible at the front desk of a motel or a clerk behind the counter, something like that, because they lost identity because they didn't feel that that person saw them and heard them. And so it's just realizing this, that if we can give space for that other person to feel seen and heard, to receive identity, that we will have a much healthier interaction with them. And that's true whether it's our spouse or the person at American Airlines trying to get us rebooked on a seat or whoever it is. Every human being has that same need. It's just we respond differently depending on how the situation is. So with my spouse, I'm less likely to respond nicely. Sad, but that's the way most of us are. But if it's someone else, someone helping me in a service situation or whatever, I'm liable to start pretty good, pretty healthily. But if I feel like they're not hearing and seeing what I'm saying, then I'm going to pretty soon feel that loss of identity and start to get louder and or give up. And some people will give up instantly. They won't even get louder because they don't feel like they have the right to even exist and be there. So anyway, just thinking about how this affects every interaction, road rage, whatever different things you can think of, the fundamental issue behind it is the loss of identity. That person didn't feel seen and heard, and they reacted very strongly and took it out on somebody else. So that's all for today. Thanks.